Welcome back. Welcome back to the Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany. What's going on, guys? I had to come back. It was the right time. First week of the NFL is out of the way. It's over. NFL is officially back. I'm excited. We got through the first week. Um, I'm happy my team won. Whew, jeez. Boy, was that a close one. I know I talked to you guys a few days ago about the Eagles and the Cowboys and the stress that they always cause me, always, all the time. But before I get started, please do me a favor, guys. Please do me a favor. Can you please subscribe? Hit that subscribe button, share, like. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm slowly but surely growing, and I am back. Once again, I'm back solo, but I'm excited. Let's just jump right into it. Um, this has been actually, you know what? It's been spoke on maybe a few times, not a whole lot, which I'm really surprised about that. I thought, more people will be speaking on it right now, at this moment, since the NFL is still looking into it. And that's the Lamar Jackson situation. As we know, the Baltimore Ravens ended up losing a tough game, a very, very tough game against the Buffalo Bills, 40-41. But I have to give credit where credit is due. My goodness, is Josh Allen an incredible quarterback? That team, they just willed themselves to a victory. Absolutely willed themselves to a victory. But it's okay. It's only week one. I know the Baltimore Raven fans are very, very upset about that situation. It's week one. You're gonna have your ups and your downs. And I know it's like we were up 40-25 in the fourth quarter, which is crazy with me saying that. Because I'm be honest with you guys, I had to finish watching the game later on because I fell asleep. I thought the game was over. I think the score was 33. I can't remember exactly, but I remember um they scored again and it was 33 to I think to something. I think it was less than 20 points if I can recall. I might be wrong with that. And I was really tired. I said, you know what, I'll catch the rest of this tomorrow. When I woke up in the morning and I seen that score completely flipped, wow. Wow. I have to give Buffalo credit. I have to give Buffalo credit. That was a great week one game. I'm a defensive person, to be honest with you. Never played basketball, but I'm sorry, never played football, but I played basketball and I'm all about defense because I think defense is what wins games. Of course, you have to score points on offense, of course, but you got to stop your opponent from scoring. And that was really, really great. Great overall game to me by both teams. You have your ups and your downs in week one. But this incident in particular occurred right after a Derrick Henry score. He ran the ball in and they extended the lead. And a fan decides, you guys are well aware of the situation. A fan decides, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. They're killing my team. They're walking right by me. Let me just take my hand and shove him on the helmet. So he not only shoves Derrick Henry, but he then decides to shove Lamar Jackson's head as well. And Lamar Jackson then turned around and pushed the fan back into his seat. Now the question has been, should Lamar Jackson be punished for this? The NFL is looking into it. They have to look into it. They have to do their due diligence. We know that that particular fan has been banned by the Buffalo Bills from that stadium, and the NFL has also banned them as well. So it's going to be very tough for that fan to basically ever go to any NFL game. Uh, Definitely can't go to one in the Bill Stadium, and most likely won't be able to go to any game in really anywhere potentially. So I believe it is a lifetime ban, I'm pretty sure. Um but should Lamar Jackson be punished for this? To be honest with you, I don't think he should. I really don't think he should. Yeah, the NFL has their rules for players touching fans, but as fans, you cannot think it's ever okay to put your hands really on anybody, but let alone an athlete. They're trying to do their job, right? They're celebrating with their team on the field. The game is not over. As you can see, the game wasn't over. Buffalo Bills did end up winning, but you cannot in your right mind think it's ever okay to put your hands on a professional athlete, really anybody, but since we're in the stadium, on a professional athlete. You don't do that, right? And I don't think that man that I don't think he was in his right mind. He couldn't have been. I don't know if it was the alcohol, I don't know if he was upset, whatever it may be. See, the problem is fans think they're automatically protected because you have the barriers. You think you could get away with certain things, and then there's security guards all around you. No, no, no. You don't, that's something you just don't do. You stay far away from that. That should be the very last thing. Matter of fact, that shouldn't even be on your list of things to do. If you're frustrated because your team is losing, okay, so what? It's a game. It's football. This is not a life or death situation. It is literally football, right? It is their job. It is not our job. We root for our teams. We want our teams to have fun. That's fine. That's okay. I played sports. I understand the competitive nature behind it, but Josh Allen's not paying your bills. Josh, Buffalo Bills aren't worried about you in this moment, right? Like what what would make you think that's ever okay? I did see, and I don't know if that video was legit. I don't know if that was actually the fan. Um, I did see a video going around of a fan apologizing. Um, but at that point, it's too late. It's too late. So now the NFL is looking into the Lamar Jackson and saying, what should we do in this situation? You shouldn't do anything in this situation, to be honest with you. If you want to have a call them and have a conversation, then fine. Just leave it at that. Just have a conversation. But Lamar Jackson should not be fined. He definitely shouldn't be suspended. If anybody anywhere violates your personal space by shoving you or pushing you in your head, I'm pretty sure anybody anywhere would then shove that person back. Honestly, he's probably lucky things didn't get worse than that, because we've seen situations in the 90s and other situations and other stadiums and other sports where fans did similar situation and the players took it upon themselves to then go into the stadium or go into the stands and go face to face with that particular fan, right? Or that particular person. Because at that point, I just think, are you even a fan anymore? At that point, I don't even know what you are. That was disgusting. That was you. We don't do this. Like you don't do that at all. Enjoy the game. Sit there in your seat. Get up to cheer for your team if you want to cheer for your team, but just sit in your seat and enjoy the game. Watch the game. That's all you need to do. Lamar Jackson, I can't fault him for his actions. Um, I have to give him credit because he went during his press conference. He said he needs to be better than that. He needs to be able to control himself. Sir, I can't fault you for really honestly defending yourself. That's what you did. You defended yourself. Some stranger that was upset because his team was losing decided to shove you in your head. Not only you, but your teammate. You defended yourself, to be honest with you. Like that, this makes no sense. And I don't know if the NFL or if the Buffalo Bills or any other situation banning the fans is going to send a message to other fans. It never does. It really doesn't. It's like, so what can these teams do or the leagues do to ensure that this doesn't happen anymore? Like what can they really do? Right? How do you get this under control? It happens almost every single year in different sports. So it's like, how do you get this under control? Do you charge them criminal charges? Is that maybe got to take that next level? I know some situations they will. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. But in my mind, I don't think Lamar Jackson did anything wrong. I don't think he's at fault for anything. I give him credit and I appreciate him taking accountability for his actions. Although to me, he shouldn't apologize for anything because his personal space was violated, and it was no need for that fan to even do that. No need at all for that fan to do that. It's ridiculous. This is it's ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous, right? And I just wouldn't know what else needs to be done. But as far as the game itself, that one heck of a game. When I was able to catch the second half, it was one heck of a game. It was just, I mean, if you think about it, scoring 40 points is fantastic. Derrick Henry, I think he had the most rushing yards of any running back in the league. 2 touchdowns, 18 carries, 169 yards. Fantastic. The only thing that messed him up was the fumble. But you know what? Things happen in the first week. Things happen in the first week. But this is an interesting week one. We don't have situation after situation, and it needs to stop. Even we had, we know what happened with Jalen Carter. We seen what happened with the college game. Similar situation to Jalen Carter. So it's an interesting week of football. So, but kudos to the Buffalo Bills for, for overcoming all of their struggles in the beginning of game and continue with their fight. I'll tell you one thing, the Ravens are going to have to figure out what's going on with that defense because you have too much star power on that defense. Way too much star power on that defense. To give up 41 points. I mean, you have Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphreys and Zaire Alexander, Kyle Van Noy. So there's a lot. And then you got the young guys and Nate Wiggins. You got the rookie and Malachi Starks, who it's funny, before the Eagles got Jahad Campbell, which I'm very happy we got Jahad Campbell. I was looking at Malachi Starks like we need a safety and that kid can play. So it's a lot of talent on this defense, so they're going to have to figure that out, and they will. There's no need to panic right now. We know the Baltimore Ravens are going to make it to the playoffs. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I'm not gonna lie, I did have the Baltimore Ravens winning this game, and they played great enough to win the game. It's just the mishaps that occurred that can hurt you, and that's what ended up happening. And yeah, that's that was one heck of a game. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic. And I had to talk about Mr. Wide Receiver Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins. They had an interesting game. I think my next topic after this is going to talk about the Colts side. So I'm not going to try not to get too much into the overall game itself, but I'm only going to talk from the Dolphins perspective, or do my best. Tyreek Hill. They showed the cameras flashed over to him while he was sitting on the sidelines, and it showed how frustrated he was. So how very, very frustrated he was with the team, with the situation. I believe they lost 8-33. I guess I would be pretty frustrated too. And now after that, it's a lot of trade rumors are out there right now. And whether he'll get traded to the Steelers, who are actively, my understanding in this rumors, but actively pursuing him, or whether he'll return to the Chiefs, who we well know are a few receivers down, a couple of receivers down. Rashid Rice is suspended for a few weeks. And then Xavier Worthy, who was knocked out of the game last week after running into his teammate Travis Kelce. He dislocated his shoulder. So, Andy Reid said it's more day-to-day. I'm not sure if it's a day-to-day situation. They say he might play this week with a brace, but I don't know how that's going to work. So they're down a few players. But Tyreek Hill in this particular game was very, very frustrated, and you could see the frustration on his face. But all I gotta say is Tyreek is Isn't this the team that you wanted to come to? Weren't you a free agent? If I can recall, you sitting there getting frustrated. You always frustrated. But if I can recall, didn't you say you think Tua was better than Patrick Mahomes? I understand you want to go get paid. Well, just say that. I want to go get paid. I want to see what I could do to help the Dolphins organization. But no way in anybody's right mind who knows football did anybody think that Tua was anywhere better than Patrick Mahomes. And I understand later you cleared it up and said, no, maybe a little bit more accurate. As we can see, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think Tyreek Hill is he has always been an extremely talented wide receiver. He was underrated coming out of college. His speed is my goodness. My goodness, his speed incredible. Right. But this was your choice. You put yourself in this situation for the most part. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And I think for me, I'm getting a little tired of the Tyreek Hill, frustration, or is something always going on with Tyreek Hill? There's something always going on. I don't like to say anybody's toxic or anything like that because I don't know this man. I don't know this man at all. I don't know him at all. I want to believe that he's a good guy, but you're always in the news for something, sir. Like you're always in the news for something. You're bringing negative press into your locker room. Focus on football. Just focus on football. Focus on football. Tua, uh, Tua, I don't know what's going on with Tua, but that was not a good game at all. It was not a good game. He threw for 114 yards, and that's okay if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you had 2 interceptions and I believe a fumble. So I believe 3 total turnovers during the course of this game, and they were not good. Those 2 interceptions were not just mishaps. It was bad decisions being made on behalf of the quarterback. Very bad decisions being made on behalf of the quarterback. So they need to get back to the drawing board. Absolutely, because the expectation was so much higher for them. It is so much higher for them. You have a talented team here, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, you have Tyreek Hill as your wide receiver 1. You have Jalen Waddle 2. You have Devon Achane, who's a talented running back. I mean, I don't know what other excuses you could come up with. So, it might be, I don't think the Dolphins may be looking into trading him exactly right now. It's only week 1, so I think they still want to see how the next few games go, maybe 2 or 3 games. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tyreek Hill right now was in that front office saying, "Hey, get me out of here. I want to go somewhere where I feel like you can win, where I feel like I can win." Although I feel like, isn't that what you said so many years ago? You feel like you could win there, and y'all have yet to show anything since you've been there. So I don't know if that's on the coaching staff, the players. But I've never felt great about this team since, and I'm thankful as an Eagles fans. I'm very, very thankful that the defense complained about Vic Fangio. So thank you. Because now I find him to be one of the best defensive coordinators in the game. He's very smart. He cares about his players. He's tough on his players because he wants them to succeed. He understands the strengths, and my understanding is when you hear the players talk about him, the Hall of Famers, the former Hall of Famers, like the 2 49ers linebackers from Patrick Willis and Lamar, I can't think of his name right now, but you guys know who I'm talking about. The other linebacker with Patrick Willis. When you hear those 2 guys speak about him, if you really take the time and take to his coaching, they said this, he's going to show you, tell you exactly how to play your role. So all you have to do is listen to him. He's going to help you so much. He's going to get on you. He's going to call you out. He's going to make sure you're accountable, but he's going to help you. And the Dolphins defense didn't want to do that. You guys remember this a couple years ago. They just complained and complained and complained. And then when he did leave and he came over to the Eagles, I remember some of the Dolphins players posting on Instagram saying, thank goodness that he's out of here. I don't think it was Vic Fangio. That's a culture issue there's a culture issue over in Miami right now, and they have to fix that. They have to change that. I don't know how they're going to change it, but they got to get some players in there who's all about football, number one. And there's no excuses. They got to have players that has a no excuses mentality. They want to go out on that football field, do what they need to do, go all out for that team. To me, they don't have that right now. And you can see it on the field. It's whatever's going on in that locker room is transferring over into onto the field. That game was horrible. Whether week one or not, I know week one there's a lot of ups and downs. You're trying to figure out your identity. You're trying to knock off the rust. But that was just bad. That was not a great game at all. So their next game, they really need to get focused. Really got to get focused. So I don't think they're going to trade Tyreek Hill right now. I think, trade deadlines is not until sometime in October. So I say I'm going to give them a couple more weeks, see how they go, see how, they perform. If they lose the next 2 or 3 games, then I feel like Tyreek Hill will be traded. It's time to it's time to go into a different direction. And it might be a few other players that will be traded. I'm be honest with you guys. I was looking at their defense to see if anybody we could take on our defense. I'm a little greedy as a Eagles fan. It's okay. I think every fan, for their team should be greedy. You want to get as many talented players as possible on your team. So, and it's going to be interesting. If he goes to the Steelers, my goodness, you just giving another weapon to Aaron Rodgers, opening up that offense even more. And I think he's a perfect complement to DK Metcalf with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good. Once that line protected, Aaron Rodgers looked like I ain't gonna say too young of an Aaron Rodgers because he's nowhere near as mobile as he used to be, but his arm is still pretty good. He still can see that field like he always has been able to. So if you added Tyreek Hill, it's going to be very hard to slow down that offense because DK Metcalf is fast. He's strong. He's a great route runner. And then Tyreek Hill has the speed. And then I like Kenneth Gainwell. He came from the Philadelphia Eagles. I wish we could have kept him, but unfortunately we couldn't. I think Kenneth Gainwell he was an RB2 for us. I think he's a hard runner. I think he's a great blocker out of the backfield. So that's going to help their offensive line and help give more protection to Aaron Rodgers to find his guys down the field. And, he's going to play his butt off. I think for Pittsburgh Steelers, all they really need to do is to get better on defense, which they will. It was game one. And that was a great back and forth game between them and the Jets. So, they have Slay and Jalen Ramsey, and my goodness, that Jalen Ramsey hit at the end for them to win the game, that was a textbook hit. Textbook. He hit him hard. As soon as he caught the ball, wrapped him up, and sat him down, and that ball came popping out. That was a fantastic hit. That's the Jalen Ramsey we're used to seeing. And now he can see the field more because of the safety position. Oh, my goodness. So I like Joey Porter Jr., TJ Watt, and all the other guys they have over there, Highsmith and so forth. So they're going to get that team together. Mike Tomlin will get that defense together. So, but I know they're actively pursuing Tyreek Hill. The Kansas City Chiefs. I just spoke about them not that long ago and how they lost their two receivers. Well, one due to suspension, the other, I'm gonna say more week to week. I know a lot of people say day to day practice and things like that. So I'm gonna say more week to week to see what happens. He might play this week. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting because you got to brace your receiver. You got to put your arms up and utilize your arms. You got to move that shoulder. That's going to be sore. He's going to be sore. But football players are tough. They're really tough. But if you have Rasheed Rice coming back, Xavier Worthy, and then you added Tyreek Hill, I'm intrigued to see how that is. That's going to be a tough lineup. That's another. He's getting his old weapon back. Patrick Mahomes will be getting his old weapon back. And I know it's been a few years that Tyreek Hill's been gone, but they still have that rapport with one another. They really do. You don't forget that fast. Um, and that's going to put stress on opposing defenses. It really is, because all that speed between Xavier Worthy and Tyreek Hill, and then you had to be worried about the mobility of Patrick Mahomes. Although he's more of a pocket passer, he is a scrambler. So you have to worry about that. And then I know he hasn't done much because last year he was hurt by Isaiah Pacheco. If his feet don't hit that ground any harder, every step that he takes when he runs look like it's just going to punch through the ground. He's such a hard runner. Very hard runner. So I think adding him to the Chiefs, which I prefer not, if I'm being honest, I would prefer for him to go to the Steelers. But I think Tyreek, he has to get it together. Like, all this is on you, sir. You are the leader in that Dolphins locker room. Gather your troops up. Gather your troops. This is the role that you wanted. Gather your troops. You talked a lot. Gather your troops up. Encourage your guys. Focus on football. I don't want to hear any more, stuff about you in the media. I don't know you personally, but I really want to believe that you are an honest, good guy. I love seeing your videos on YouTube with the kids, with you and the kids at the camp. I love that. I love that. That excites me. I'm like, wow. So focus on football and gather your troops. So, because this frustration, it's not going to do anything, to be honest with you. It's not going to do anything at all, except for tear the locker room apart even more. And we're going to see it on the field like we just did. There's no reason why you guys should have only scored 8 points against the Colts. And I got to give Colts credit. They played their butts off. But 8 points? I know it's week 1. And I say a lot. I've said it a lot. It's week 1. You're going to have your ups and downs. But 8 points is ridiculous. The Phillies scored more than 8 points. I believe, was that yesterday? Not that long ago. They scored more than 8 points. And that's baseball. It's hard to get 2-3 points in baseball. Sometimes it's difficult to get 1 point in baseball. And you guys scored 8. Yeah, we're going to have to work on that. So, Tyreek Hill, get it together. You're too talented. This team has way too much talent. So, I don't know if it's the head coach, Mike McDaniels. He was supposed to be this offensive-minded coach. Well, coach, if it's you, then you needed to get it together, because there is way too much talent on this team. Come on now. I'm actually rooting for you guys. I'm not a Dolphins fan by any means, but I love to see talent work together. I love to see guys who are extremely talented, like the players they have on this Dolphins team, put it together on the field. And y'all been together for too long, for way too long for this to continue. I feel like if it does, then honestly, they're going to break this team up and they're going to have to start over again. And I feel bad for Dolphins fans, because they're going to have to go through this again. You got all this talent. You got to go through this again. Figure it out. So, Tyreek Hill, you're one of the leaders in this locker room. So I'm putting all of this on you. You're one. All of the leaders in that locker room, all the captains in that locker room, y'all need to get together, have a meeting, and and be serious in this conversation. Have a very candid conversation amongst all the players and figure it out. Because this is not it. This is not it at all. It's kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you, because you guys again got way too much talent for this. Way too much talent. All right, guys, I'm gonna get off of the Tyreek Hill situation. I'm still a fan of his. I still have a lot of respect for his game. I just want to see it to be more about football and the team together, bringing that team together to figure it out. Tua, I have one more say about Tua. One more thing. I think he doesn't have too much more to go, to be honest with you. I think the Miami Dolphins are getting impatient with him. And it's unfortunate the injuries that he has gone through. That's very unfortunate. And it has left me nervous a few times. Guys, football is a dangerous sport, as we know that. And I honestly did not want him to come back, but this is in his heart to do it. So we have to respect that. But Tua, you can't play like this, sir. There is no excuses for this. You're supposed to be more talented. This, at least that's what everybody said, right? So, I mean, you the quarterback of this team. I don't know if you're not reading the defense correct. I don't know if you can't read defense properly. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the play call. But like the Colts player said, their whole goal was to take away your first read and rush you and make you panic. And that's exactly what you did. That's exactly what you did. It seemed like you're predictable. I want to believe that Tua Tunga, I can never say his last name, but I want to believe that Tua is more talented than what I just seen. Because at one point you were top 10 quarterbacks in the league. I'm not seeing top 10 talent right now. I don't even think I see top 15 talent right now. So you got to get it together, sir. Because I think your leash is short with the Miami Dolphins organization. I think if the Dolphins, if they don't have success this year, and it's primarily due to the play of Tua, of course, other players will be involved because it's not just one player. But you're the quarterback. Unfortunately, you get a lot of the blame, I should say, which is unfortunate. You and the head coach. But this game to me is on you because you played bad. You played terrible. And I've seen better games from you. So I don't think Tua will be here much longer if the Miami Dolphins keep playing this way. So I think this is his last year to figure it out. And then they're going to have to potentially move on. So we'll see. It's a long season. We're only in week 1. We're in week 2 now. Week 1 is over. Have to play much better. Actually, let me see who they play next. They play the Patriots next. Now, I want to say they should win that game, but the way they just played against the Colts, I'm not too confident about that. Because I honestly thought they was going to beat the Colts. The Colts wasn't even sure who they wanted their quarterback to be. And the Patriots are still trying to figure it out. They have Drake May, Stephon Diggs. We know what type, when he's healthy, what type of receiver he could be. He gives help to Drake May. They have Trayvon Henderson, the running back, I believe, from out of Ohio State. So they have talent, but we're not going to say they're that team right now because they're so young. So we're not going to say they're world beaters just yet. So the Dolphins, this could be a game they could potentially go and get. This should be a game they should go and get, to be honest with you. I'm not saying that as the Patriots just are that bad. I just think they're so young, right? They're young, and although you have some veteran leadership, the majority of the team is very, very young, including Drake May. Drake May, this is what, his third year? Tua has been in this league, 6 years, 5, 6 years, something like that. So probably a little bit longer. And you have a lot more talent up on paper. On paper, there's a lot more talent. The Patriots have a lot of young talent that still hasn't necessarily figured it out yet, but they're coming. They're coming fast. So to me, normally this is a game I would go with the Dolphins. I don't know if I can do that. I'm not sure if I could go with the Dolphins. The Dolphins now had to show me what they're capable of because I don't know if I trust them. So let me get off of Tyreek Hill and get on the Colts now. I have to give the Colts credit where credit is due. My goodness. As we know, as I stated earlier, the Colts dominated the Dolphins. I mean, dominated the Dolphins on both sides of the football, 33-8. 33-8. And the guy who has been criticized, the guy who has been told he is not a quarterback in the National Football League, the guy who has been told in the media and from fans he should not be in the National Football League. He showed up and he showed out. Now, I don't know if quarterback Daniel Jones said, I'm going into the offseason and I'm going to work my butt off so hard that when I come back on the field, y'all going to put respect on my name, or if the New York Giants really messed up. So I don't know who this is on. It's week 1. I need to see more from Daniel Jones. I need to see consistency. But my goodness, he was throwing that football all over the field and had no fear. It was confidence from him. 22 of 29, 279 yards. I'm sorry, 272 yards, one touchdown. But he looked in control of that offense. And the big question is right here on the screen: is this the real deal or is this fool's gold? Is this the real Daniel Jones under a new coaching staff, under a new coaching regime, under a new scheme, offensive scheme, better coaching? Now, Brian Daboll is a very good quarterbacks coach. At least we know. We've seen what he has done with the likes of Josh Allen and how Josh Allen performed when Brian Daboll was with him. So, like we've seen what Brian Daboll can do with quarterbacks. But what happened with Daniel Jones when he was with the New York Giants? Right? Now, there's a lot more issues that come along with the New York Giants, right? Outside of Brian Daboll. Other coaches, I don't know who their quarterbacks coach was, but they had, as you know, a very young running back after Saquon left. They didn't have much of an offensive line at all. And then prior to Malik Neighbors being there, wide receiver Malik Neighbors, they had okay talent at the wide receiver position. You know, I did like a couple of their guys, but we're not going to say they're AJ Brown or Tyreek Hill or DJ Metcalf or Jay Jettis, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, those guys, you know. But it's like night and day with how Daniel Jones played when he was with the New York Giants. And he had flashes over there, but it just wasn't working. And how he just played with the Indianapolis Colts this past weekend. Night and day. Like, Daniel Jones really looked good. I know for week 1, a lot of people are upset. Why did I not have Daniel Jones on my fantasy team? Because he got a lot of points this week. I'm pretty sure. I don't do fantasy football, but based off the way he played and what I seen, he looked good. So the one thing I do want to see from Daniel Jones, I need to see consistency. Because right now, my mind, as much as I want to say this is the real deal, I'm not too confident about that. I don't want to say it's fool's gold. I'm going to give him a chance. Because to be honest with you, he is one mistake away from them putting back in Anthony Richardson. That's to me, that's what the Colts are about right now. I know they got Daniel Jones as a starting quarterback, but I feel like Anthony Richardson, if they're going to hold on to him, which I felt when he was drafted and they put him in the starting lineup almost basically right away. I feel like that was too fast because he was so raw coming out of college. Very, very raw coming out of college. And he still is somewhat raw. I mean, he's only been in the league for a few years. So, and sometimes some players are better, they perform better if they sit for a year or two. We have seen quarterbacks come in that sat for a year or two and they play lights out because they were able to sit and just learn and really from a different perspective see the process and see what, you know, what a successful quarterback does on a day-to-day basis. You know, I don't know how much Anthony Richardson is going to be able to learn from Daniel Jones because of his struggles in New York, but it's going to be interesting. I also heard that they're not sure if Shane Steichen and his group are too high on Anthony Richardson. So I just think Anthony Richardson just needed the time to develop. Again, a lot of people get excited about the physical traits. You know, he's 6'4", 6'5". He could throw the football 90 yards down the field. So what? Can you read defenses? What is your decision, your process on the field? How fast can you process stuff on the field? Right? What are you seeing? Can you read the defense pre-snap and post-snap? Right? What so that to me that's more important. And then when you do throw the ball, are you throwing with anticipation? Are you accurate? You know, but I don't care if you could throw the ball 90 yards down the field. That doesn't matter. That doesn't quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls because they throw the ball 90 yards down the field. Drew Brees wasn't known to throw the ball 90 yards down the field. He wasn't the strongest quarterback, right? That doesn't matter. Decision making is what matters. Processing is what matters. Making, well, I just said it, making the right decisions. Your IQ, being able to read the defense, understanding certain situations. So to me, and that's to me, Anthony Richardson still needs to develop those, let alone also with um with working on his techniques. So hopefully the time that he's sitting right now, he's learning and he's developing behind the scenes, and that's okay. So I don't want him to he doesn't need to get embarrassed or anything. Just work on your game. But as for Daniel Jones, is this full? Is I need to know, is this the real deal? Is this fool's gold? So it looked good the first game. The first the first game looked amazing, especially going up against a team in the Miami Dolphins who we thought would come out playing way better than this. He killed this defense, but I need to see more. I need to see way more. Look good throwing the football, look good running the football as he had 2 rushing touchdowns. So over 115 was your quarterback rating. So you look fantastic this first game. But I need to see consistency. What are you going to give me in your next game? And the next game they have, who do they play their next game? They have the Broncos. That's going to be a good test because the Broncos defense is pretty darn good. With Patrick Surtain and all those guys over there, that's a pretty good defense to go up against. So I need to see how Daniel Jones is going to perform during this game, during his next game. So it's going to be interesting. So they play at 4:00, 4:00 on Sunday, and they are home. So this next game is going to show me a little bit more about what Daniel Jones is about. Because the New York Daniel Jones, that Daniel Jones almost got him kicked out the league. If he can continue to play how he just played in this first game against the Dolphins, oh, he's going to, of course, stay in the league and he might maintain his starting role. You can't take him out if he's playing this great. You just can't, because he played lights out. He really honestly did. I was sitting here completely and utterly surprised. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Here's another one. Mr. Justin Herbert and the Chargers beat the Chiefs 27-21. First game of the season. This was a good game. I actually enjoyed watching this game. This really did. This really was a good game. Quarterback Justin Herbert played very well. He played Justin Herbert played like the quarterback that I was expecting when he was coming out of college. This is what 5-6 seasons in for Justin Herbert. Because to me, there's no more excuses. Justin Herbert played very well against this Kansas City Chiefs defense. He threw that ball all over the place. His decision making was fantastic. The way I could tell he was seeing the field very well. And the timing of when he took off on runs was incredible. If he could play like this every single game, the Chargers are going to be a tough team to beat. They really honestly are. 25-34, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, 32 rushing yards to add on. And one of the biggest rushes was at the end of the game. When he ran 17 yards for the first down and ended the game. Justin Herbert looked fantastic in this game, week 1. He looked fantastic in this game against a tough opponent. I understand the Chiefs are weak in certain areas, but where they're not weak at is probably what kills majority of the opposing teams. They're not weak in quarterback. They're not weak at the head coaching position. They're not weak at the DT position. They're not weak at the one corner spot with Trent McDuffie. They're not weak at the defensive coordinator position. You know, although we might look from the outside and say, they don't have a whole lot of talent over there. They got guys who play their role very well, who knows their role. They don't need the top of the top receivers because the guys that they have are decent players in the NFL and they do their job. That's the point of a football team, right? Is to do your job. Just do your job. On offense, the receivers, I explained this last week. On offense, the receivers do their job. They run their routes to the best of their ability. And then when Patrick Mahomes is outside the pocket, they make themselves available. Travis Kelce on the decline, but he knows how to get open. He knows how to read defense and where to sit. And says, Patrick, I'm available. Give it to me. I got you. That's what he did last week against the Chargers. And scored their last, I think that was it their last touchdown, I believe. So we can sit and knock the Chiefs if you want to. They still, I don't care what nobody says, that's still a good team because they have players that know how to do their job very well. But the Chargers, and I mean on both sides of the football, played well. Played very well. The defense was getting to the quarterback and made sure Patrick Mahomes did not get comfortable. I mean, it's still hard because Patty, he's Patrick Mahomes. So he'll throw the ball. He'll jump from the sideline inbounds, jump 10 feet as he's throwing the ball, crosses his body to the other side of the field. And it somehow gets incompleted, which it did. Hollywood Brown. He's an incredible quarterback. But the defense made it very tough for the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's what you have to do. That's how you have to play. It's unfortunate, as I again said earlier, that Xavier Worthy went out the game early. So I'm curious to see how that would have looked. But the Chargers did what they were supposed to do. And one of my favorite receivers on the Chargers, Ladd McConkey. Oh, he's going to be an annoying receiver. He's going to be like that Wes Welker type, a little bit more. I like Ladd more. but just that pest that you just can't figure out. Like, why is he always open? And he's going to be the guy that Justin Herbert's going to lean on. He's going to look for. And thank goodness Justin Herbert got his guy back in Keenan Allen, because Keenan Allen showed up, and when Justin Herbert, he could find Keenan Allen and deliver him the football when he felt like he may be getting in a little trouble between Lad McConkey and Keenan Allen. Sheesh. I did like to see that offensive line improved. Unfortunately, they took my guy, Mekhi Becton, from my team, but it's okay. I think Tyler Steen is going to do just fine over here. That he's strong. Tyler Steen is strong, but I'm still a huge fan of Mekhi Becton. But that offensive line definitely improved. Omarion Hampton, the running back, he's going to be a good young running back. He did make that one mistake, but he'll learn from it. I'm glad, his guys talked to him on the sideline, and he didn't get too down on himself. He just got right back in the game and continued playing. You'll learn from it. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about the play where it was towards the end of the first half, end of the second quarter. I think it was about 50 seconds left in the game or so forth, maybe a little less. And it was third down. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it was third down. And when he ran to the outside, instead of sliding to keep that clock going, because I don't think Kansas City Chiefs they didn't have any timeouts yet left. Instead of sliding to keep that clock moving, he ran out of bounds. And the clock stopped with about 45 seconds to left to go. And you cannot leave Patrick Mahomes at any time on the clock. Like, you just can't do it. For some way, somehow they figure it out how to get down and score. And that's exactly what they did with about 45 seconds left on the clock. They ran down the field and kicked a field goal. And that was amazing how they did that, by the way. It was like clockwork. They had no timeouts. The offense ran off the field. The field goal unit ran onto the field. And I'm sitting there like, they might not get it off. They might not get this kickoff. Any other team, odds are they don't get that kickoff. But I should have known under Andy Reid, they was going to get that kickoff. Even the broadcasting group unit was saying, we're not sure if they're going to get this kickoff. And well, look at this. They just kicked that field goal off in time and made it. So the fact that they don't even feel panic in those moments is amazing to me. That is incredible coaching. That's all coaching. That is coaching and discipline by the players and focus by the players. That's what that is. So I have to give them credit. But the Chargers in this game look great on both sides of the football. If Justin Herbert first stays healthy, because health has been a major issue for him, if he first stays healthy, that's going to be the first part, and he continues to play like this, he might be now in my top 5 quarterbacks, because he had the talent, right? The talent is there. His big thing was consistency. His big thing was health. But I can't put him over my current top 5 quarterbacks because I haven't seen enough yet. This is one game. I haven't seen critical wins. I haven't seen. This was the first win. I believe the Chargers had. I think they were 7-1 when it came to 1-score games against the Chiefs. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know how many times Justin Herbert beat the Kansas City Chiefs. It might have been 0 in those situations. So you're 7-1. I can't remember if that one was with Herbert or not. I'm not sure if he was in that game or not. 7-1. That's ridiculous. And you're supposed to have top 5 talent coming out of that draft. I'm sorry, I can't do that. So his big things is going to be consistency for me. And then making the playoffs, and let me see what you do in the playoffs. Normally you take it step by step, but he's 6 years into the league now, I believe. I need to see something. I have to see something. But this was a great start. This was a fantastic start. The Chargers play. Let me see who they play next. Um, they play the Raiders next. That's going to be a good matchup. Now, I'm thinking the Chargers, the way they played last week, should win, should beat the Raiders. But I'm not just going to say they will, because again, consistency matters, and I'm curious to see how they do against. They did very well against Chris Jones and Karlaftis. Did very well against those two guys. Now I got to see what you do against Max Crosby. Let me see what you do against Max Crosby. But Justin, Mr. Herbert, I'm gonna call you Mr. Herbert. You're Mr. Herbert today because of how you played last week. If you go back to doing what you did before, you're going back to Justin. But so I'm gonna say Mr. Herbert. Keep playing like that. Because that was wow. I gotta give you credit where credit's due. You played your butt off. You played your butt off. All right, guys. Let's get to the Monday night game. The Bears versus the Vikings. The Bears, as we all know, lost to the Minnesota Vikings 24-27. And I want to talk about the young quarterback, Caleb Williams, mainly. So I'm going to give the Vikings credit because, they were down in that game for the majority of the game, came back and won it in the fourth quarter. Justin Jefferson stepped up in the second half. JJ McCarthy, he looked bad in that first half. He looked bad probably first 3 quarters of that game. But came around and said, you know what? And he said this to his team. His teammates came out after. I think it was Aaron Jones that came out after and said it, that they was in the huddle. And he said, we're going to win this game. Don't worry. And that's exactly what they did. JJ McCarthy in that second half, he was dropping some dimes. So if he continues to play like that, I see what the Vikings seen in him and why they were being so patient with him. Again, week 1, I can only go off from a very small sample of JJ McCarthy. But if I get to JJ McCarthy that I seen in that first half, Minnesota Vikings going to have a long season. A very long season, because that did not look good at all. But he turned it around and got the victory, and that's all that matters. That is all that matters. It's an ugly win, and to be honest, you want to be able to win the ugly wins in the beginning of the season. You want to be able to win the ugly wins in the beginning of the season while working to figure out throughout the rest of the season, working to see what your identity is for the rest of the season. But Caleb Williams, is he ready to shine with Ben Johnson? Caleb Williams looked good, to be honest with you, in the first 3 quarters, I guess I could say. So I'm not sure who I could put this loss on, because I really didn't have a problem with how Caleb Williams played. He's still a young player. He's going to still go through his he's still going to have some mistakes at the end of the day. But to me, he looked good, at least in those first 3 quarters. Was 21 for 35, 210 yards, a touchdown, 6 carries, 58 yards, a rushing touchdown. But what I liked about Caleb Williams in this game, he was decisive with the football. He did not hold on to the football. That was his problem in college. You can get away with that in college. You get away with that in college. But in the NFL, you cannot get away with that. And we seen that all last year. And it was causing a lot of frustration with his coaching staff and his teammates. And we seen that. But this first game, Ben Johnson, he said, we got to get that ball out quick. And he was getting that ball out fast. Read and throw. Making quick decisions. Very decisive. I like it. And he was accurate for the most part. And he was making some very great athletic plays. I've seen some of the flashes come out that we've seen in college. Why he was the number 1 overall draft pick. So you could tell there's talent there. There's a lot of talent there. So I'm ready. I'm ready to see what this young kid can do with Ben Johnson. I wasn't too high. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't too high on Caleb Williams. I thought Jaden Daniels should be the number one pick coming out last year. But after this first game, again, you got to be consistent. He's still a young player, still learning, similar to JJ McCarthy and all the other guys, young quarterbacks. Um, but man, that was a wild game for me. Now, towards the end of the game, it got a little rocky there. Started going back to some of his old ways, holding on to the ball a little bit too long. You know, if nothing's there, it's okay. He's mobile. He's very mobile. Escape the pocket, go. It was a couple times he had lanes to run and he just didn't run. He held on to the football too long. And that's when things started to change for the Bears. So can't go, and it's all about repetition, right? You have to uh, uh keep focusing, keep practicing on getting that ball out quick. And I know it's tough because the defense, of course, they're going to make adjustments in the second half. They're going to change some things up to throw you off as a quarterback. Um, but so he'll learn. But I've seen a lot of bright spots for Caleb Williams. So I think the Bears organization, as long as that coaching staff gets it together, and I think they have the right coaching staff, hopefully. And it's not only just Caleb Williams, it was some of the play calls as well towards the end of that game that I didn't like neither at certain times. And I think Ben Johnson is much better than that. At least he better be. So, but I love DJ Moore. I love Rome Odunze. They got my guy in DeAndre Swift. So they have a lot of talented players, young talent on this team. So I think they'll figure it out. You know, you're not going to be able to turn this around in a year. So it's going to take time. You know, Caleb Williams has to grow, and he has shown growth already. He has shown significant growth already from last season to this first game. But now it's about consistency. Now it's about putting it together. Right. So I think they'll be fine. And who do they play next? Let me see who they play next. Ooh, they play the Lions next. I don't know if that's a game I'm talking about later. It might be, so I'm gonna hold my thoughts on that one. Because that's gonna be a tough one. But let's see. Oh, yes, I had to talk about Mr. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. We know the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Cleveland Browns in a very close one, 17-16. Will the Bengals miss the playoffs again? Though, based on how they played this first game, I'm going to say yes. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but they have to turn it around. They have to turn it around. This, to me, did not look good at all for the Bengals. It honestly didn't. This was not a good game. And for everybody, and I'm going to say what I'm about to say, Joe Burrow is above in rankings, right? I put the air quotes because I think rankings are just whatever. But them ESPN rankings, and when you hear certain analysts speak or sports commentators speak, he's a top 3 quarterback in the National Football League. That was not a top 3 quarterback type of game, in my opinion. That did not look good at all. And I'm tired of excuses. We sit and say how some quarterbacks have this great team, this fantastic team all around them, or they have great receivers and running backs. Joe Burrow has 2 of the best receivers in the game, and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And then he has a young, talented running back in Chase Brown. Like, how many more excuses does he get? Because I can't see that type of game again. 14 of 23, 100. Now, the 14 of 23, 113 yards would make sense if he was doing what needed to be done to win the game. But that game was bad. They should have lost this game. They should have lost this game. I try not to do the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but they should have lost this game. They only won because Cleveland Brown, the Browns are the Browns. They going to Brown, right? Missed 2 field goals. They missed 2 field goals. But this did not look good at all. And if this is any prediction or any whatever it may be for future games to come, this is not a good look for the Bengals to me. And to me, you have some talent on the defense now, right? The defense is still going to be the weakness of the team, I believe. But I love Trey Hendrickson. That kid Shamar Stewart can play. That's a talented young player. He's a rookie. He showed me something. But the offense cannot perform this way. That was a bad game. And I'm going to say, just like I said, if everybody else, it was only week 1. I got to be fair and consistent. If I say week 1 for the winners or other teams that lost week, during the first week, I got to say it for the Bengals as well. But based off of what I seen last year and into this year, it did not look good. You have way too much talent on this team for it to look like that. Like that. And to be honest with you, I mean, the Browns have Myles Garrett. They have some talent. Joe Flacco threw 2 interceptions, and you still only beat them by 1 point. And again, they should have still won even with those 2 interceptions because they missed those field goals. So I'm not impressed right now with the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not. Joe Burrow, all the talent in the world, but he tends to do what certain quarterbacks do in certain situations. It's like he folds at times. Talent, but he folds at times. We seen that last year. It was time to make a play. Quarterback needs to make a play. He didn't do that. So I'm not impressed with this game at all. I need to see more. Let me see who the Cincinnati Bengals play next. I may have said it. No, I didn't. They play the Jaguars next. That's going to be based off how they played against the Browns. That's actually going to be a pretty good matchup. Trevor Lawrence over there. Travis Hunter is now over there. So I'm curious to see how this works out for him. But this type of game from Joe Burrow, I'm expecting better than this. I'm expecting better from the team. Normally, if you're supposed to be this all-world beater of a quarterback, yada, 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 clearly quarterbacks need help, and he has help. You got the best receiver in the game, 2 of the best receivers in the game. Jamar Chase is put above almost any other wide receiver, including Justin Jefferson. Now, a lot of people argue back and forth between those 2 as being the top of all the receivers, but he's up there. He's 1 or 2, whichever your preference is. That's what they say, right? And then you have T. Higgins. T. Higgins, in most people's eyes, are better than a lot of people's number 2s. I'm not going to say everybody's number 2, but a lot of one's number 2. Actually, they say 1A, 1B. So what's your excuse, Joe Burrow? What's your excuse? There are quarterbacks out here getting criticized, getting destroyed when they win, right? When they win with the talent that they have. Oh, they're only winning because of the talent that's around them. Yeah, I think this shows this is a team game. And the talent around a quarterback means nothing if the quarterback doesn't know what the heck he's doing, right? Now, I do think they have some deficiencies that they have to improve. That's every team. That's every team has a weakness or deficiency. So figure it out. So I don't know if it's the coaching staff. I don't know what it is. But you got Joe Burrow, a top 3 quarterback in the National Football League, What most people's eyes had the number one receiver in the National Football League, with a top 10, another top 10 receiver in the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have that much talent around him, right? He wins. I mean, Josh Allen, they said, doesn't have a whole lot of talent around him. He wins. So what is Joe Burrow's excuse? There is no more excuses. So if I see, and I'm of the belief that really, what is talent, right? Talent is important, yes, but it's understanding your role is what's more important. Doing your job, that's when people win. As we've seen with the Patrick Mahomes and the Josh Allen is able to come back and win, right? Josh Allen didn't just score all those points by himself. He had teammates that did their job, caught the ball, ran the route properly. Regardless of how we see him on the outside. So what is Joe Burrow's and the Cincinnati Bengals excuse? At this point, there's no more excuses. He's been in this league long enough. Long enough. So I'm not sure if they're going to make the playoffs or miss the playoffs this year. I'm honestly not sure. But I'm going to give them some time. I'm going to give them, at least they started off faster than they did last year. They actually won the game. They won their first game. I think the last couple of years, it took them a while to win their first game. They struggled. Went 0-3, 1-3, whatever it may be. But we can't start off again this year like that. That can't happen. So, if they continue to play like this, yes, they will miss the playoffs. And it's not acceptable. Again, a lot of talents on this football team. Is either a lot of talent, but it's talent that's not doing their job properly. But you need a quarterback to excel at their job. And again, that doesn't mean throwing the ball 90 yards down the field, having the strongest arm, right? The quarterback has to read the defense, process things. I said it earlier, right? Has to make plays. So the quarterback has to do their job, and then his teammates have to do their job. His playmakers have to do their job. If any one of those don't, if anyone, one of those lack, you're not going to win the game. You're not even going to be close. So this was, I'm not excited about this one at all. I'm not saying yay, Bengals. No. After this type of game, and this week, again, I got to say, it's week 1. This doesn't impress me. So let me see what the Bengals do over the course of the next few weeks. Like I said, they have the Jaguars next, then the Vikings. Let me see. Jaguars, Vikings, Broncos, Lions, Green Bay. So after the next couple games, it gets tough on this schedule. You have the Lions, you have Green Bay, you have the Steelers. The Jets look pretty good. And the Jets always have a good defense, regardless of how that offense looks and that quarterback position looks and that offensive line. And they look pretty good against the Steelers this past weekend. That defense is something. That defense plays well. You have the Bears and you have the Steelers. You play against the Ravens, the Bills. Ravens, of course. The Bills. So this is going to be interesting to see what they do this year. But they didn't start off too great in me. I mean, it's good because you got the W, which is good. But outside of that, I'm not impressed. So I'll see what you do next game, and then we'll come back. But right now, I'm not that impressed. But again, you want to know. It's better to start off 1-0 than 0-1. So it's always better to get the win versus not getting the win. So, but get back in that locker room, front office, get back to the drawing board. Because there's no reason with this offense you should only have 17 points. So I know, unfortunately, the offense is going to have to do a lot more because of the deficiencies on the defensive side. And that defense has been horrible. And that could be because all the money they paid to the offense. Most likely that is what it is. You know, you paid a boatload of money to your quarterback, boatload of money to both your receivers. So all the money's on the offense. So you got to be able to seek out the talent on the defense to have the right schemes, to have the right players in the right positions on the defense, and they just haven't been able to do that. I mean, outside of Trey Hendrickson, who's a fantastic pass rusher, and I do like Shamar Stewart. I said that again. I like Shamar Stewart. All right, guys, let's go to this week. It's week 2 of the NFL. Some exciting games again, coming up this week. We've seen what happened week 1. Hopefully some of these teams, went back into the locker room, went back into, in the meeting rooms on the practice field, worked through some things, whether it was rust, working the coaches working on better offensive, schemes, scheming to get certain players open, making sure you draw up plays to get certain players open. The defense, making sure their techniques and fundamentals are correct, coaching them up better. And of course, players taking accountability. But you always, like I said, you're always going to have week 1 issues or ups and downs. Nothing's going to go right in week 1. Nothing. Really nothing. You improve into week 2 because now you have film to see what you messed up on, right? And actual gameplay. Training camp is more controlled environment. Preseason, most teams don't even play their starters, and you just have players out there fighting for a spot. You have players out there fighting for a spot. But now this is week 2. This is where the improvement starts. It's not the finished product by far. It's only week 2. But we start to improve. There's steps to this. Steps to this. So the first game I want to talk about, let's just go for it. We're going to go for that Sunday afternoon game at 4:25 in Kansas City. And that's my team against the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. What everybody seems to be calling is the Super Bowl rematch. Boy, I wish I could go back to that game. That was a fantastic game. That was the least stressful game as a Philadelphia fan all year last year. Actually, the second least stressful game. The other one was against the Commanders in the championship. Every other game last year was fairly stressful. It's not easy being a Philadelphia fan, I tell you. You need blood pressure medication sitting right next to you because every week it's going to be close. And I don't care what sport it is. Even in baseball, I'm watching the Phillies. They're doing well this time against the Mets, but those games are always tight. Well, I don't want to talk about the Sixers. They just bad, but yeah, we're gonna go back to the Eagles. Forget them. That season didn't start anyway. But my Philadelphia Eagles against Kansas City Chiefs. I want to start by saying these are not the same teams as last year, by far. These are different teams, and what I mean by that is, yes, they have some of the same players. Their core players tend to be the same, but the other players who play just as important role as your core players, because they have to be able to do their job as well. If they don't do their job, your core players' job, they're not helping. Sometimes then all of a sudden, for instance, Chris Jones he's usually just a pass rusher, but Trent McDuffie can't stay on his assignment because he got to come help or whatever it may be. Right. So their role is just as important. But so people see it as a Super Bowl rematch. I don't see it as that because we done lost players on our defense. They done lost players on their team. I know primary the defense. Justin Reed is no longer there. A few of their other guys are no longer there as well. Same here. We lost 4 or 5 starters on our defense. Let me count them. CJ Gardner Johnson, Darius Slay, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, BG, Brandon Graham. 5 players we lost on our defense. 5 important players we lost on our defense. So we have a very young, I think we are the youngest defense in the National Football League. And you can see that a little bit last year. I seen flashes of certain things. I'm sorry, last week. I seen flashes of certain flashes of okay of a lot of talent and a lot of potential, but now we have to be consistent. Now we have to put it together. Now we have to figure out what our role is, and that's what they're going through right now. So, but going up against Kansas City Chiefs and Arrowhead in Kansas City, at Arrowhead in Kansas City, is not going to be easy. That crowd is loud. They're just as loud as coming to Philadelphia, if not louder. So it's going to be noisy. It's going to be rowdy. No, the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm pretty sure they're going to be up for this game because they don't like how they left things the last time they faced the Philadelphia Eagles. And I understand. That was not a good loss. On the brightest stage. On the brightest stage. The biggest game in the National Football League. So they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready. They're going to come out and feel like, you know what, we got something to show the world. We don't like how what we did last time we played football against this team, and we're better than that. I know that's what they're saying. That's what they believe. You should believe that. So Philadelphia Eagles, especially the defense, Patrick Mahomes, you got to get pressure on him and then try to do your best to keep him in the pocket. That's not going to be an easy task. He is a scrambler, right? And I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. He does these Madden video game type moves that it feels like should only be in the video game. But he brings it to reality. He brings it to real life. He did it last week against the Chargers. 2 plays. 2 crazy plays. Laying full out in the air and toss it over the Chargers defender into the hands of Juju Smith-Schuster. He's jumping out of bounds, throws it across his body to Hollywood Brown down the field. So, and he's an incredible player, talented player. You know, Travis Kelce, I said before, always finds a way to get open. He looks slow now. He is not the same player he once was, but he still to this day finds a way to get open, reads the defense, exactly knows where to sit, makes himself available to Patrick Mahomes, especially when he gets into trouble. So these guys, that offense, I say it again, Andy Reid, one of the best coaches in the history of the National Football League, has these guys. He always has his guys playing great football. He will take somebody who on any other team, people will see him as, he's okay. But he gets these players to play above their talent level. Why? Because he takes the time to coach them. He understands their strengths versus their weaknesses, and he puts them in situations where we could see their strengths. Andy Reid is a very extremely smart football coach. He's a genius and always has been, always will be. And his players play for him because they love him and he allows them to be themselves. So they play even harder for him. And we can see it every week. We see the Kansas City Chiefs play every single week on both sides of the football. Whether they win or lose, they're going to give it their all. So the Eagles defense in particular have to come out and be ready. So I can see they're going to be doing similar things that the Dallas Cowboys did last week. They're going to attack CB2 or Dory Jackson, since Vic Fangio came out, I believe today, and said he will be starting. He actually said it yesterday. He said, I believe they will be starting. And I think he said it again today. So, Dory Jackson, you got to step up. That C grade that you gave yourself last week, you better rethink that grade and really reflect and really worked on your technique and your fundamentals, because it did not look good last week. And although you're not going up against a George Pickens or a CD Lamb, these guys know their job, right? So you might be going up against a Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm not sure who the other receiver is if Xavier Worthy is not playing. But you're going to be going up against one of those guys. They know their jobs. They might not be the best, the fastest receivers or the best route runners in the game, but they know how to get open. And we play a lot of zone. So they understand how to sit down in these zones. So I need a Dory Jackson to really step his game up. I don't know how. I don't know where he's going to find it, because he did not look good. That was an F grade to me. It was that bad last week. That bad. So, and Andrew Makuba, the rookie safety for us, he had ups and downs as well. You know, he's still learning. And the reason why I'm not as hard as on him that I am with Dory Jackson. Dory Jackson's been in this game for 8-9 years playing like that. But Andrew Makuba, he's going to slowly learn. I like him coming out of Texas. I think he's a talented player. Once he gets adapted to the speed of the game and understands his assignments, I think he'll be fine. But he's going to have to pick it up this week as well, because this is a different type of quarterback that you're going against. Dak is a talented quarterback, but Patrick Mahomes is on another level. I love our linebacking core. Zach Bond. I love the rookie Jahad Campbell. Jahad Campbell is always around the football. I keep saying that week after week. It's only been 1 week, but he showed me he is always around the football. So I think we're going to have a talented linebacker duo, even in this game. Quinyon Mitchell, we know what he brings. Cooper DeJean, I'm curious to see. I want to see a little bit more base defense when they push him to the outside. They did it a lot last week, but I felt like a lot of those plays against Dallas, they kept running the football, so I couldn't really see Coop's coverage when he was on the outside, which he's a talented young corner. I believe that inside or outside safety, you want to put him slot safety or corner, I think his coverage ability is just going to be off the charts for a young player. So, but I want to see more, but more in passing situations. You know, a lot of Eagles fans and even a coach said it himself, he really doesn't want to have to put him on the outside, but I really think he has the talent to go to the outside. And then Mac McWilliams, who's the rookie slot, who they're really excited about, should go in that slot spot. But I know it takes time for these guys to learn and develop. So, you know, I'm a trust in Vic Fangio, because Vic Fangio he doesn't get the reputation that he has for this long, and he don't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, and everybody else knows that he knows what he's doing. So I'm trusting in Vic Fangio. So, but the one thing I want to see, I want to see pressure on the quarterback. We didn't generate a whole lot of pressure last week. It got better in the second half towards the end of the game, but you have to see much better pressure this week. I need Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Jordan Davis. And Jordan Davis, to me, played an incredible game last week. Missed 2 sacks. It should have got those 2 sacks. But to play at his size, 80 something percent of the snaps was great without JC. The good thing is Jalen Carter comes back into the game. We'll be playing this week. I don't need no more of that nonsense, Jalen Carter. Let's focus on football now. It's all about the football. Now, this is how you're going to redeem yourself. Show us on the football field clean. Clean. Show up for your brothers. So, but with Jalen Carter coming back and how dominant he is, he's going to make it easier for everyone else. He really is. And then we have Zadarius Smith. I'm pretty sure he is going to be thrown in on a lot of those pass rushes, and we know what he's capable of. So he got 9 sacks last year between the Browns and the between playing with the Browns and the and Lions. Split the season with those two teams last year. And although he's what 30, I think he just turned 33 yesterday, a couple days ago, might have been yesterday. Um, Still generating 9 sacks. That's good production. That's great production. So I want to see. So for this game, I want to see better coverage from the SCB2 position, and I want to see uh better pass rushing. Oh, and stopping the run because Isaiah Pacheco, he might not be a Saquon Barkley. He may not be a CMC. Well, he's not a CMC, right? He might not be Josh Jacobs, but he runs hard. He runs hard. So our we need to fill in those rush lanes. And Adoree Jackson, if I see you miss on another that was just so bad against Miles Sanders. It looked like he just purposely said, it looked like he made a business decision. And I'm like, it's Miles Sanders. It's not like you going up against AJ Dillon, who's on your own team, that type of size of a back, or Derrick Henry. It's Miles Sanders. Fill the gap and go make a tackle. He completely missed the entire gap. I don't know how he missed it. I'm still trying to understand how he missed it. And his back got turned and opened the hole. Miles Sanders ran for 40 something yards down the field. Adoree Jackson, come up and make a tackle. Show me something this week. Let that F grade that I gave you, that's the realistic grade, not that nonsense C grade that you gave yourself, improve significantly. Can we at least get a passing grade? Because you failed. You flunked. Let's get a passing grade this time. Okay? So that's going to be important. Filling those gaps, filling those holes when they're running the football and making tackles, getting more pressure on the quarterback. Because Kansas City Chiefs offensive line is not what they used to be. It's not what they used to be. That's one of the weaknesses on this defense. I know what Chiefs fans think, it's only the right guard. No. And this, again, is 1 week, but that first game, the offensive line did not look good at all. Patrick Mahomes is moving a lot. And not because it was a bunch of rollouts. He had to. So, and for our offense, I like how we started the game, but we need to make better adjustments in the second half. And granted, it's a new offensive coordinator, and Kevin Patullo, so he has to learn, I guess you could say. He was the quarterback's coach last year for Jalen Hurts. But you have to make better adjustments, and you have to get your receivers the football. I think Jalen Hurts played a great game last week. He did what he was supposed to do. We don't win that game without him. But I want to see better passing plays. I want to see the ball go to AJ Brown more and Devontae Smith more. You may or may not have Dallas Goedert this week. So it's not just no little out routes to your running backs and watch them go make a play. You're gonna have to, and why would you not against the corners, these corners. Now Trent McDuffie is a dog, but their other corner is young. Not saying he's not talented. I got to learn a little bit more about him, but he's young. So feed your receivers. I love what Jahad Dotson did. I could see his growth and his rapport with Jalen Hurts. I love the fact that, I'm seeing more 13 personnel, them using the fullback. Now it's interesting to see who they use as the fullback since BVS, Ben Van Summeren, went out last week. I would like to see more of that. It's just an additional blocker for Saquon Barkley. And then it throws some wrinkles because, Ben Van Summeren can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. So I want to see more of that. But I'm curious to see. I heard I think Kyler Granson maybe an option who's a tight end, and Cameron Latu, who was practicing in the fullback role. So I'm curious to see how that works. But we got to get the football to our receivers. And to me, that's on the offensive coordinator. That was not on Jalen Hurts. Look at the game. You know, every quarterback misses a throw too. That's normal. But the way that game turned out, those receivers were not open. And I got to give the Cowboys credit, but you're going to get not that. Develop a better passing scheme, please. Okay, because we always start off slow with our passing game every single year. Develop it better. We are very balanced on our offense. Actually, most teams will try to stack the box against because of Saquon Barkley. That should be freedom for your receivers. So I need to see better routes. I need to see better routes schemed up for the receivers. They can run them. You have two receivers that can run the entire route tree, the full route tree. So I need to see better plays drawn up. So for this game, I think this is going to be another close game. I really do. I need to see also, before I give my score, I need to see better offensive line play. We have fantastic offensive linemen. Most of them are Pro Bowlers and potential future Hall of Fame. Lane Johnson is a future Hall of Famer. He has 2 Super Bowls and, to me, the best right tackle in the game. I don't care what anybody says. To me, he is. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an Eagles fan. I know that's what a lot of people are going to think, but if you watch him, I think he's the best right tackle in the game, even at the age of 30. How old is he? 33, 34 years old. And he's tough. Man, is he tough. So we have a bunch of Pro Bowlers on that offensive line. They have to block better. I know Cam Jurgens is young. You know, he's been the center for a year. This is his second year, but he's been in the league long enough now. But third year, I think third year, I believe. He's a excellent center. You gotta block better. He did not have a great game last week. I know Lander Dickinson got hurt. Ended up getting hurt and was in and out of the lineup. But they had to, and that takes time. Get that chemistry back again. They'll get it back. I'm not concerned. Jeff Stoutland will have those guys playing much better. I know he wasn't happy with the way they played, especially when it came to the run blocking. I know he wasn't happy with that run blocking because they left a lot of meat on the bone. They left a lot of meat on the bone. So, and Saquon had to make certain cuts to get through. So, that's going to get improved. But my prediction for the Eagles and Chiefs game, I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win. I think it's going to be a very tight game because Patrick Mahomes I guarantee you he wants to win this game. I mean, he's going to say all the right things in the media as they should, but in that locker room, he wants to win this game. He don't like how things were the last time they played. He don't like how they left things the last time they played, and he's coming out and saying, I know what happened then, but this is about to happen now. So they're going to come ready. They're going to come ready. So I'm going to say this game is going to be 28-22 Eagles. 28-22 Eagles. I think the Eagles defense is still trying to figure it out. And I think the Eagles offense will generate more in the passing game this week. But I do think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to bring it. They're going to be ready for sure. They're going to be ready for sure. All right, the next game, guys, because I took a long time with the Eagles Chiefs game. So the next game, I'm going to go with the Commanders Packers game. I'm actually excited about watching this particular game. This is actually, when is this game? Is this tomorrow night's game? This is the Thursday night game. So that's technically tomorrow night. Hopefully when you guys see this video, it'll be today, Wednesday. If not, then you'll see it most likely Thursday. Um, so, but tomorrow night, 8:15, the Washington Commanders at the Green Bay Packers. This is going to be a good game. I want to see what Jaden Daniels does against this incredible looking Green Bay Packers defense. They look good. That Green Bay Packers defense look good. It's week 1, and it looked like everything was clicking already for them. They're going to go through their ups and downs, absolutely, but it did look good on that first week. It's funny how they traded Kenny Clark, and including myself, I thought the run defense would take a hit. Nope, they had other guys to step up in that role. They really just needed that pass defense, and they got that pass rusher, and they got that in Michael Parsons, and he already made impact. The impact was crazy. His impact was crazy. Um, so I know they're going to do their best to get after Jaden Daniels, and I think this is going to be a great test for Jaden Daniels in week 2. I want to see his development, even from last year. I know the Washington Commanders did fantastic last year and made it all the way to the NFC Championship. But this is going to be a tough task for both teams, to be honest with you. I think for both teams. Terry McLaurin, the Debo Samuel signing looks good. He looked good in his first game. I mean, not surprising. They have the offensive coordinator to scheme his players open, and that's exactly what he did. He schemed Debo Samuel open because Debo Samuel's not the best route runner, but when he gets that football, he is like a running back, yak yards quick, easily. So the offensive line improved when they went and got Laramie Tunsil. So Zach Ertz, although he's older, he still looks good. So I'm excited about this game. I'm curious to see what the Commanders defense does against that Green Bay Packers offense, because Jordan Love looked good last week. Um, I like Jaden Reed. Matthew Golden looks fantastic with this team. Josh Jacobs, I mean, what else can you say? It's a freaking boulder going down the field. You can't stop. How do you stop a boulder? I don't know. So I think this is going to be a good game. I'm excited about this game. I'm definitely watching this one. 8:15 tomorrow. Absolutely can't wait for this one to start. Oh man, I don't even know who to go with on this one. I don't know who to go with. I'm not sure who my prediction is going to be. It's early. I have to just go off of what I seen in week 1. If I do that, that Green Bay Packers defense is different. That Green Bay Packers defense look like it might be special this year, but we'll see. They're still going to go through they're still going to go through their ups and downs, but I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. I think right now they look like they're good on both sides of the football. So I'm going to say this score is going to be 30-28. I think it's going to be like a 2-point game. I'm going to go say 30-27. 30-27, 3-point game. Green Bay Packers win. I think they only going to win by a field goal. So we're going to see what happens. Next game, Giants Cowboys, another division game. I want to see if Russell Wilson can redeem himself, because he almost lost his starting spot already. They're excited about Jackson Dart, right, Russ? So unless you're ready to retire or be QB2, you better get your life together, because you can't have any more games like that. But granted, that offensive line is just atrocious. They have to do something to fix that offensive line. That is not a good offensive line at all. Malik Neighbors getting frustrated because he feels like he needs to get the football more. But the few times I seen the football getting thrown to him, it was 50-50 balls, and you didn't pull him in. So stop getting frustrated. Like, you're getting your opportunities, young man. Play the game. If you don't catch it, that's all right. Encourage your team. We got this. This wide receiver diva stuff is really aggravating. Like, we see the talent that you have, but it doesn't look good when you sitting there complaining about something, and the opportunities that you do get, you dropping the ball. And we know how talented you are. We know how talented you are. So, um, but Russ really has to redeem himself. The defensive line of the New York Giants, I still think once they figure it out, they're going to be scary. I still think the Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, which they should have played way more, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau. I think together they're going to be scary once they figure that out. So, and I think they can generate pressure against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys last week showed it looks like they're going to have another good offensive line. We'll see. I think the Eagles had some struggles last week with generating pass rush, but we also didn't have Jalen Carter. The New York Giants are going to have their horses up front. Now on the back end, I mean, what do you want to do? I don't think the back end of the New York Giants is anything to run home about. So I think that's where the Cowboys is going to beat them. They don't have too much, like, their secondary is not that great. Their front line, once they build that chemistry, I think their front line is going to be, again, scary, fantastic. But you need a little bit more than just the front line, right? Again, it's a team. Your front seven works, and then your DBs have to do their job. So if one of those is lacking, it's not going to come together how it should be. So, and I think if their DBs can't cover, great. Dak Prescott is going to throw that football all over the place because he gets the ball out quick, as you could see against the Eagles. Again, we got a little bit better pressure in the second half, but he got that ball out quick. And I think he continues to do the same thing this week. I think if you get the ball out quick, it's going to be hard for the New York Giants to defend that. So, and then for the Dallas defense, they showed me something that they are pure hustle and heart on that defense. Hustle and heart. Trayvon Diggs played well. Bland played well. I'm missing a few other guys played well. Kenny Clark came in and played well in the run defense. And a few other guys, of course. Excuse me if I can't remember everybody's name off the top of their head, but they have young talent on that defense. And the biggest thing, again, is they play hard. They play physical. So, and this is a division game. I think they're going to come out and play hard and physical again. They lost that first one. They want this one. And I believe you're in Jerry World. So let me just check to make sure. Yep. It's going to be in Dallas. So you're going to be in Jerry World. Yeah, I got the Cowboys in this one. I don't trust the New York Giants right now. They got to show me something. I'm not trusting them. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to say, I'm going to say 24-17 Dallas. 24-17. The last game I decided to select, I did the Bears versus the Lions. Now, the reason why I did the Bears and the Lions, because I want to continue to watch Caleb Williams and his development. And also the Lions need to absolutely redeem themselves from that atrocious loss last week against the Packers. That was bad. So, and they're a much better team than that. So I don't know if the loss of both coordinators on both sides of the football is messing them up a little bit. Again, it's week 1. So let me put my disclosure in there. It's week 1. But that was not a good game. I thought that game last week against the Packers would have been much closer. Jared Goff didn't look his best. So, but I really want to see Caleb Williams' development. I want to see that he continues to get the ball out quick. and not hold on to the ball for about 10 minutes and take unnecessary sacks. I want to see him be decisive again with the football like he was in the first half of the last game. I want to see him make accurate passes. I want to see him escape the pocket and use his mobility when it's necessary. So this is not going to be an easy game at all for the Bears because I know the Lions are frustrated after last week. I know they're frustrated after last week with that performance. And you going up against the likes of Aiden Richardson and that defensive line. Oh yeah, they're coming for you. So this is going to be a game where I'm really paying attention to Caleb Williams and see what he does in certain situations. So, but I say all of that to say the Lions are going to win. I just think they're too strong on both sides of the football against the Chicago Bears. So, I mean, look at their offense: Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the offensive line, Jared Goff. That is too strong of just the offensive line. And then the defense is healthy. They didn't play great last week. You know, Terrion Arnold he's still a young player, but he got dusted for a few plays. They're going absolutely, Dan Campbell is going to have this team ready this week for sure. So I'm going with the Lions, of course. I'm going with the Lions. I'm going to say the Lions win 33. I'm going to say 33-21. And I might be nice. I don't know. No, let me give Bears some credit. I'm going to say 23-24. Give him a little bit more credit. I'm going to say 33-24. But I honestly think that 24 is going to be on like a garbage time score, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown at the end. So, but I just want to see the continued development of Caleb Williams. So these are the 4 bigger games that I really want to watch. Although there are way more games throughout the rest of the Sunday and Monday. So, all right, guys, let's move on, and then I'm out of here. But the last topic I have to get to, and this was, I do talk basketball on this show. So it's not just football, it is basketball. I told y'all last week that. So, and this was some news about Benjamin Simmons. He is something interesting. So if you don't know, Ben Simmons it was recently announced that his agent dropped him. His agent dropped him, most likely due to frustration. That's what the report said. So, and he dropped him because Ben Simmons rejected a Knicks offer, and there's probably not a lot of offers out there for Ben Simmons. And so I know for sure his agent is frustrated because your agent's job is to get you a job, basically. And it's based off of Ben Simmons' reputation. Not saying he's a bad guy or he's punching or fighting, but no, we all watch basketball, right? The NBA. Most of us follow Ben Simmons and seen what happened. But his reputation is not the best with a lot of organizations from what they have seen. So, and it might not be a whole lot of offers out there. But there was one offer, and it was the Knicks. And I don't know if this is actually true or not, but allegedly that the Knicks made him an offer, but it was the vet minimum, maybe slightly above the vet minimum. He doesn't want to take a vet minimum or slightly above the vet minimum. That's embarrassing to me. Benjamin Simmons, you have no one else to blame but yourself. No one else to blame but yourself, sir. You came in, You're supposed to be the next best talent. Generational talent is what they say. And you had the talent. We've seen that you had the talent, but it was your attitude. It was your whining and your crying. You had your first team that drafted you basically gave you everything that you wanted, and it still wasn't enough. So you leave, you get traded to the Nets. Granted, people get injured, but you don't want to work on your game. You don't want to work on your game, and you can see it. Let me tell you something. These other guys, they're hungry. They want to win. They want to get paid, and they want to win championships. They're hungry. So they're constantly working on their game, developing their game, working with trainers, taking care of their bodies, doing what they need to do to ensure they have success in this league, to ensure they can continue working. You didn't want to do that. You thought the talent that you carried from high school into college and to be in the NBA will hold you over the course of your career. That's not how that works. So it's more than just you not having a jump shot. That's part of it. We seen you shoot in the off season, but it's more than that. It's doing what you're supposed to do, working hard, having the right attitude. That's the biggest thing for me is your attitude, your mental fortitude. Everybody goes through ups and downs. Everybody goes through ups and downs over the course of their career in the NBA, NFL, just in life in general. But you took that for granted. You said, I don't care about anybody else. I want to do it my way. Sir, your reputation right now with the league is not good. So you don't have the ability to be picky. You don't have the ability to continue to say no, because you know where you're going to end up next? Out of basketball completely. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, as a Sixers fan, when he first left, I didn't think I would consider this, but now that I'm sitting back and I'm looking at the team for the Philadelphia 76ers, I wouldn't mind Ben Simmons coming back and playing point guard. I think he will help tremendously by pushing Maxey back to his natural position, which is actually the 2. He's not a 1. He's working hard to play the 1 position, but he's naturally a 2. He's a scorer, right? Not necessarily a playmaker. Ben Simmons is a playmaker. He just needs to shoot more. So you don't have to continue to play 4 on 5. You play 5 on 5. You don't have to be the best shooter. Just show the team that you're going to shoot. You don't have to make all your shots. But let me tell you something. You make 2-3 shots, they got to play up on you now. And that opens it up for everybody else. That even opens it up more for yourself, because you like to drive to the hoop. So this means if you shoot more, they have to now play up. They're not going to crash in the paint as often. But when you don't want to shoot and they know you're not going to shoot, the guy defending you is just going to stand back. Well, I know you're not going to shoot. So it's easier for me to guard the paint, because you're not a threat. I don't really have to worry about you that often. So he's a fantastic defender. Always been that. For me, it's his mentality. His mentality sucks. And it's like, when do you grow out of it? You're 29 years old now. 29. There's no more excuses for you. When you first came in the league at 20 years old, that time went by fast, by the way. That time went by fast. You telling me this man has been in the league for 8, 9 years, something like that already? Seasons? That time goes by fast. And if you could have just continued to develop the way most people thought you were going to develop, how you should have developed your game, how you should have improved your game, the growth you should have had, you probably would have still been one of the best players in the league right now. I don't know if you would have been the best player, but you would have been up there. You would have got the second contract that you would have. You could be picky on what teams, if you're a free agent, that you want to go to. But you don't have that ability anymore, sir. That's why your agent dropped you. He's probably working his butt off for you, and you got the nerve to say no. No. I probably would have dropped you too. Because you're wasting people's time. I still think you have ability to play. But my biggest concern is not your talent level. My biggest concern is your mentality. My biggest concern is your selfishness. And you have shown that time and time again. And you continue to show it. You will be 30 in less than a year. No more excuses at all. No more. This is it. Now you get ready to be on the wrong side of your 30s. You basically messed up your entire, what? You're in your prime time of your career right now. So honestly, you probably got a good maybe 3 years, 4 years. So, but you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. One point in time, $40 million a year, basically 30-40 million dollars a year you were making. You're not going to see that until you show teams something different, until you're able to change your reputation. You have to change how people perceive you, because based off your track record, why am I trusting you? Why would I invest a lot of money into a player that doesn't want to grow his game, doesn't want to work on his game? At times, don't even want to play. Coming up with all types of excuses not to play. So all of this is on you. This is what happened. This is what people have warned you what happened. You have burned bridges. Now, I'm not saying you can't put those fires out, but you got to work at it. And the one thing we know you don't want to do is work. But if you want things to change, you have to work at it. You have to make the change. You have to be the difference maker. People are not going to come running to you anymore. You have to change people's mind. Benjamin Simmons, it's time to grow up. Because at this point in life, this is it. This is it. This is it. All right, guys. That's the end. I will be back again next week or in a couple days, and talk about more football. Of course, if there's any NBA news, I'll come out and talk about that as well. But I'm excited to see what happens this weekend. Hopefully the Eagles are 2-0. I'm a little nervous, but I just hope they give their good effort and play to that standard that they always talk about. So that's what I want to see. So, but I'm excited about this weekend and the games. I'm just happy that this is a good time for sports. This is a great time for sports. Football kickoff is kicking off. Basketball is right around the corner. The NBA basketball is right around the corner. WNBA playoffs has started. Baseball playoffs are get ready to arrive. So this is exciting time about sports. But please, guys, do me a favor. Please hit that subscribe button, like, share. I would greatly appreciate your support in helping me grow this channel. And if you guys have any topics that you want me to talk about, my Instagram is @BrittanyMonique. Please reach out. I don't have a problem with me. I'll do my best to look at them as much as possible. So please reach out. But have a good night, guys, and I'll see you next time. See ya.